been in that situation where you feel like you have decluttered loads, but your space still looks the same? Doesn't look like you've made any extra room at all. Well, we are going to free up a whole shelf in just 5 minutes. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura, and I just realized that I forgot to take these glasses off. I just wore them for the thumbnail. We're gonna roll with it. Decluttering books or just reading material in general is a great way to save a lot of space, because even just getting rid of a few, like a small handful, is going to make a lot of extra room on your bookcase. But if you are like me, then books are friends. So let's talk about some ways that you can make the whole process of decluttering them as quick and painless as possible. This is day 3 of the Declutter Challenge, clutter-free in 5. If you have just stumbled across it, then welcome. You can go back and catch up on the other videos. First up, I want you to go ahead and get rid of all of your catalogs. They're just taking up space and tempting you to bring even more clutter into your home. So yeah, get rid of those catalogs, cancel any subscriptions, contact the companies, tell them not to send you the stuff anymore. Now, get rid of as many user manuals as you can. You probably have some for stuff that you don't even own anymore. And honestly, I feel like everything comes with a user manual these days. Like, you can't even buy a water bottle and it comes with 60 pages of instructions. If you can, and let's be honest, would just go and find the information online, then go ahead and get rid of the physical copy. If for some reason you are still not quite ready to part with them, then consider ripping out some of the manual, because let me tell you something, user manuals are like this thick, but the part of it that's in a language that you actually understand is like this thick. They usually come in multiple different languages. So get rid of the languages that you do not understand and you will reduce the bulk quite considerably. Now, textbooks. Okay, be honest with yourself about when you are ever going to reread them. Chances are that information is already out of date. I was keeping a textbook that I loved, you know, genuinely sparked joy for me, but it was old and I wanted to let it go. I wanted to be in that place where I could let it go. So what I did was I looked it up online and I found that not only were there like several editions, more recent editions, but there was an older edition, but still newer than the one I had, that was actually free online. So really, if it's tied to your job or maybe you're in college, unless you are actually actively using it right now, then get rid of it. You have evolved past that. Your experience has gone past that. You're never going to go back and read all of those foundational things that you learned years ago. You've moved past that now. And now cookbooks. Okay, generally I think a lot of people have at least one big giant hardback cookbook, but the reality is that most of us just like go to the same recipes over and over again, and you might think like, yeah, someday I might cook the rest of them, but again, online, all of that stuff is available. So if you find that you have a cookbook that is this thick and you like refer to about 5 recipes in it, then I was going to say rip out the pages. That would be blasphemy. Do not do that. Unless you're just not like me and you don't care about books. But snap a picture or write down the recipe or whatever, and then just let the book go. I will talk a little bit in a minute about how to make it easier to let go of books. Okay, let's look at magazines and newspapers. Again, the information is outdated. By the time you get it, all that information, old news, and probably again, readily available online. So if you have been building up a stack of magazines or newspapers and you haven't read them by now, you could probably safely let those go. If you still definitely, want to keep receiving them, you could switch to a digital subscription, save the planet, save a few trees. You could go to your local library. Most of those will carry like a wide selection of newspapers and magazines that you can just read while you're there. Or, just go to your local doctor's office or something. But get rid of all of those old ones that you've been hanging on to, meaning to read, full of good intentions, but in reality, you're not going to. Let them go. Give them to your local doctor's office. Okay, actual books. This is a great exercise that will tell you whether or not you are actually going to read a book. I want you to go to your bookcase right now and pick out a book at random. Just close your eyes. Pick a book. That is the next book that you have to read. Now, how did you feel when I said that? Were you all like, oh great, I've actually been meaning to get around to reading this, I'm really excited to get stuck in, this looks like a really good book? Or was there a part of you that was like, very often it's the answer. If that has played any part in your answer there at all, you can let that book go. There are so many books out there, and there are new ones being published all of the time. You are never going to run out of reading material. And if you've already read a book, your chances of going back and rereading it, unless it was absolutely life-changing or you have it for deeply sentimental reasons, there's just so many other books out there. So, you know, let the old ones go, the ones that you are not going to read or not going to reread, and then open yourself up to the possibility of new books and new adventures. If you have any sort of worry at all, you think, oh, but I probably will reread it, chances are that book is very easily available at your local library or to repurchase online. But realistically, you're not going to. There have been so many books that I have loved and then looked them up and realized I could easily borrow a copy from the local library, buy a new copy if I was really that desperate to reread it. I never was. So I was happy then to let the physical copy go. So on that note, let's talk about making it easier to actually donate books. Something that really works for me is, because I am such a huge bookworm, I like to think of it as basically giving a gift to other bookworms. There are plenty of other people out there who love to read, and I am just sharing that joy with them. And I also think, particularly when it comes to things like, you know, cookbooks or any kind of, you know, maybe self-help or tutorial-based thing, that you could be inspiring somebody else to take up a new hobby or to change careers or to go traveling or do something wonderful with their life, to just spark their imagination, fuel their curiosity and their creativity. So that is something that I like to keep in mind, and that is what makes it easier for me to let go of my book friends. Not all of them, of course, but other ones. It's made it easier for me. When I look back, some of the books that have had the biggest impact on my life were second-hand books. They were books that were previously owned by somebody else and then made their way to me, and now I have them. And that's what I like to keep in mind. You know, somebody else gave me that gift, and I like to pass it on when I can to others. So when you are ready, set a timer for 5 minutes and go through your books shelf by shelf, one by one. Now don't open them, don't get sucked into them, just go through and make your decisions. See how many books, user manuals, catalogs, etc. you can get rid of in those 5 minutes, and I can almost guarantee that you will free up a lot of space. Now, if you have been watching these videos all along, you will probably have noticed that I like to give an extra little kind of tip or bonus idea at the end. And the reason I do that is because I want you not only to get the practical side of things, not just the decluttering, but also to reap some reward from it and to take time to kind of like celebrate your success or to see how it is going to impact your life on a daily basis. So for this one, what I want you to do, if you are a bookworm like me, is to create a little reading nook for yourself. Just one little space that you can escape to, because one of the biggest comments that I get when I talk about books is people saying that they wish they had more time to read. So once you've gone through this decluttering challenge, you will probably find that you will free up extra time because you've less stuff to clean, less stuff to move, etc. So create those spaces now and give yourself that time, that space to actually sit down and unwind and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Next up then is going to be the category that I probably get the most questions about. So in the next video, we are going to be talking about how to tackle the paper beast. Empty your recycling bin in advance because you are going to be filling it right back up again. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the series. Go raibh míle maith agaibh. Agus feicim mé sibh go luath. Slán. I think I'll just keep these glasses on. I like them.